Hello and welcome to another episode of the Graham Sibbald Podcast. My name's Jorja McAndrew and I'll be your presenter today. On this week's episode of the Graham Sibbald Podcast, we're going to be looking specifically at the Tayside industrial property market and the impact of COVID-19 on the market and the area. This means we'll be speaking to another member of the Graham Sibbald team, but this time from the Dundee office. So sit back, relax and enjoy this week's episode of the Graham Sibbald Podcast. Welcome to the Graham Sibbald Podcast. We're here today with Garth Davison, who's a commercial agent and associate at Graham Sibbald based within the firm's Dundee office. Good morning, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks, Georgia.
Good, glad to hear it. So I think a good place to start is if you could tell us a little bit about your role within Graham Sibbald.
Yeah, no problem. So I work within the Tayside commercial team. That team is made up of myself and three others working out of the firm's Dundee and Perth offices. I myself undertake a range of commercial work for the firm, predominantly dealing with commercial agency, which is the acquisition and disposal of commercial property and also commercial valuation for a variety of purposes. I'm based in the Dundee office and I cover Dundee, Angus, Perth and also into St Andrews.
Lovely. So before we get into the present, what was the industrial property market like in Tayside in late 2019, early 2020, pre-lockdown and obviously pre-COVID?
So 2019 generally was good for the industrial market across both occupier and investment sectors. I think it would be fair to say that we were starting 2020 with a good deal of optimism that the market would continue to perform well and hopefully kick on with regards to rents and values. If we go back to 2019, there was a lot of market activity on smaller units. So that's kind of 1,000 up to 2,000 square feet mark. One thing that both cities in Dundee and Perth have is a good number of these kind of smaller startup units. These estates work well where landlords are willing to be flexible with the tenants, offer leases, typically based on 5-year terms that incorporate tenant break options, which allows the, confidence for the ingoing tenant and for their businesses to grow. These smaller, more affordable units, typically where they don't pay rates because it's underneath the threshold, they always do perform well and they always let up well. Graham Sibbald are involved in a number of these estates in Dundee and Perth, Noble Road, Kingsway East, Inverarming Grove, for example, and voids between tenants coming and going are usually pretty minimal. Dundee and Perth don't have a lot of new build opportunities. Most stock on the market is second hand, so therefore choice has been quite limited for a while. During 2019, probably up until the March and that lockdown period, we'd been working on some good new build and refurbished industrial schemes, predominantly in Dundee. Schemes that we're working on were proving popular, not only with the national tenants, but also local and regional operators. I was feeling that people were starting to demand a better quality of accommodation for their businesses, which was reflective in the interest and take-up that we were seeing. On the schemes that we were working on, we managed to secure pre-lets with some good national tenants such as Scania, Ford and Screwfix, so all good kind of strong lets for clients involved in those schemes. Post-lockdown, momentum in the sector definitely continued. We were involved in a number of deals in the following months when we returned back to the office, or maybe not the office, back to work. And alongside the lettings of the smaller units, 1,000 to 2,000 square feet, we were also involved in some larger deals, kind of up to the 20,000 square foot mark. From the investment side of things, in the investment sector, again, the market was strong prior to and post-lockdown. We've been involved in 4 industrial investment sales since lockdown, all of which have gone to closing dates and sold at asking on some instances above.
So obviously it's great news, the vaccine is on the way, and hopefully that this means that we are nearing the end of the pandemic. So what do you think is next for the Tayside property industrial market?
Well, I'm again optimistic for 2021. I think it's going to be an interesting start to the year, and once we leave Europe, certainly markets are greatly influenced by business confidence, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But based on the last quarter, there's no reason to believe that the industrial market won't continue to perform well. We're currently working on some good deals in Dundee, so hopefully they'll come off early 2021, and they're kind of bigger lettings, 10,000 square feet and plus. We're continuing to see requirements coming to us. So a lot of short-term distribution and storage requirements for PPE and healthcare equipment. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops over the next year in 2021. I'm also wondering if we'll start to see storage and distribution requirements in the back of the changing retail landscape and the shift to online retail. Will retailers now start to look for distribution hubs as shops close? So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that market as well. With regards to supply in Dundee and Perth, it's getting less and less, and I would like to see some new build schemes being built, as we know there's definitely demand out there. From a transport road network point of view, both cities are well placed, so they are suited to the market. From Graham Sibbald and the Tayside team, we've got a number of clients that are invested in the industrial market, so hopefully we will continue to be busy going forward and see a lot of activity for us.
Yeah, you raised quite a few interesting points there. And do you think going forward, do you expect to see an increase in the number of industrial spaces available for sale or for let?
It would be nice to see, in terms of let or sale, it'd be nice to see some new build schemes being built. Not to repeat myself, but there is a lot of older accommodation in both cities, and there is limited choice for occupiers. Also, with the new build opportunities, helps keep the market moving in terms of rents and values. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. From an existing stock point of view, units coming to the market for sale or for let, I think this will probably depend on business confidence again. There's no reason to believe that there's going to be a flurry of units coming to the market. Businesses have had to adapt during the last year in COVID-19, so I'm sure that whatever 2021 has in store for us, they'll be able to adapt with that as well. From an investment point of view, this might be a good time for clients to put stuff to the market. They might see it as an opportunity to sell income-producing assets while the market's performing well.
And last week we spoke to Keith about some really interesting things going on in Edinburgh, but what about in Dundee? Are you currently marketing anything of interest that you could tell us about?
Dundee's had a lot of good positivity about it over the previous years, with obviously the V&A opening, the plots down at the waterfront, and just kind of the changing nature of the city. We are involved in a lot of stuff at the moment on the industrial side, some good refurbished schemes in the centre of town, which is one that has gone very well, and we've attracted a lot of trade counter operators to that scheme. So Sally Salon Services, we've got a wine distributor there, and also Macron, who are the sports distributors. So yeah, there's been a lot of stuff there. So hopefully that will continue to let up. We do have interest in the remainder of that estate. So fingers crossed next year, as I said, as confidence comes back to businesses in the market, they'll let up fairly quickly.
It's all happening in Dundee. Lovely. Do you have any advice for people looking to sell an industrial property in the new year?
Sell it. I think now is a good time to sell, which has been demonstrated by the sales that we've been involved in. Investment yields are strong. So yeah, we act for a lot of clients who want to invest into that sector. So we definitely know that demand does exist. I'd also say now might be the time to do some speculative refurbishment works to assets. Add value where possible, and hopefully just get as good a price as they can. But yeah, again, to reiterate, the market is good, and there's definitely demand out there.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Garth, for your time today. It was great to hear all about the Tayside industrial property market.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Garth, for your time today. If you have any questions or would like to find out more about buying or selling an industrial property, please go to www.g-s.co.uk. And of course, make sure to check out our other Graham Sibbald podcasts available on our website. Thank you for joining us today, and stay safe.